everybody. My name is Autumn Keynes, and I am an instructional designer at the University of Michigan Dearborn. And I'm excited to be a facilitator for this summer's run of DigPins, Digital Identity, Pedagogy Identity Networks, and Scholarship. And I'm gathered here with the other four facilitators of DigPins. We're going to go around and introduce ourselves to you. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about ourselves. This week is our Digital Identity Week, so we'll be talking about our digital identities, but also giving you a little bit of an idea of the identity of our cohorts. So I'm pretty active in online spaces. Twitter is a large part of my digital identity as well. Well, I like to say my blog, but I haven't been posting to my blog as much as I should. Also, Slack is one that is not as public, but I'm very active in several different Slack teams for many, many different projects that are out there. I have a great cohort at University of Michigan Dearborn this year. I think we're going to have about 15 people total. And that includes some folks who are new to DigPins that signed up this year, but we also have a couple of people who took DigPins with us last year that are coming back because they want to keep thinking about some of those things. So that's enough about me. I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to Christine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christine Moskell, and I'm an instructional designer for Connected Learning at Colgate University in upstate New York. In terms of my digital identity, I'm really at the level of conceptually reworking my own identity. My professional identity, I identify as an alternative academic. I have a PhD in natural resource management, but here I am at Colgate working in ITS as an instructional designer. So I made a complete career shift to this position because I'm interested in teaching and learning. But when you, in terms of my digital identity, I'm always working on my Google search results, which sounds very vain. But when you Google me, my past research comes up. And so my digital identity right now online, I'm really working a lot to craft it to match up with my current line of work and my new interests. So that's really what I want to say about my digital identity. And in sharing my journey with some of my colleagues here at Colgate who are now in my cohort, that story resonated with them, with faculty members in a few different ways as they work to craft their own digital identity. So for my cohort at Colgate, we've really been talking about our own digital identities for the past year. And now we're finally coming together as a DigPins cohort to discuss this with other colleagues. So I have a small cohort of 3 female faculty members who are all full professors and administrators in different ways. And I know we're all very excited to connect with other faculty and staff at other schools who have been exploring some of the same issues as we have been. And that's it.
I can go next. I'm Taylor Jaden. I'm a instructional technologist at St. Norbert College. And this will be the second time I'm running a DigPins cohort here, but DigPins has been at St. Norbert since the beginning. So that's been, it's really cool to kind of see how it changes and evolves over time. I'll kind of start with our cohort. This year we kind of have a really cool blend of about half staff and half faculty. And I know just from talking to some of the folks who've signed up, a lot of the interest has been around, unpacking what we're all going through, and also trying to, especially from some staff members, becoming comfortable with and thinking critically about how we engage in community with whatever we're going to deal with in the fall, basically. So I think it's a really cool time for this mixture of folks and to be able to participate with all the other cohorts globally too. So that's going to be exciting. As far as my own identity, I would say I aspirationally would like to say my primary place for my identity is my website, jaden.me, but I don't post there enough. So that's something I'm working on. But I do think it is a good place that I like to have a snapshot of all the weird junk that I'm interested in. So, and then secondarily, probably Twitter. I'm not as active on Twitter as some of the folks in the facilitator group here, but I definitely read a lot of it. So I would definitely be more visitor. And I would say recently Discord has been a big one for me with keeping in contact with friends, actually. Just can't see them in person. And that has been a tool that I've been spending a lot more time in than I ever have. And so I think that's been a more recent development for me. And that's kind of it for me in our St. Norbert cohort. I'm going to toss it over to Meha.
Hi, everybody. I'm Meha Bailey. I'm an associate professor of practice at the Center for Learning and Teaching at the American University in Cairo. So my full job is a faculty developer, and one of the things I'm responsible for is a digital literacies initiative on campus, but I also teach a digital literacies course to undergrads, so it's a dual role. And my cohort actually has 18 people, which I'm really impressed with, because this is the first time I facilitate DigPins. And I'm excited with this particular group because a lot of them are people who are interested in digital literacies, and they want to think thoughtfully about how to go about, going online probably next semester. Most of them are in our Academy of Liberal Arts, so they either teach language or writing. And we have a few other people from the disciplines and a few people from my own department. So I'm really excited to explore things with them. And I think they have varying levels of comfort with technology. So hopefully they'll be able to support each other as well. In terms of my digital identity, my Twitter is definitely the biggest one. I think that's where I've met a lot of people who are now very important people in my professional and personal networks. And my blog, and I blog quite a lot, maybe less so these days, but I blog quite a lot. So that's blog.mehabailey.me. And I am also on a lot of Slack teams, both with my own classes and, for other professional things. So we'll talk about all these things, I guess, later as we go. And I'm also a mom, and you'll see that everywhere. So yeah, did you hear that? There she is.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Joe Murphy. I'm the director of the Center for Innovative Pedagogy at Kenyon College. We've got a cohort that's up to 8. I just counted. We were at 7 and we got one more. So, and there's a couple more people that I'm going to nudge and say, hey, we've talked about this. Are you going to join us? So we may grow. It's an interesting mix of disciplines. Probably shading more towards early career folks. We'll actually have a person or two who are brand new to Kenyon. I'm really excited that they've chosen to join with this group to kind of almost as part of their orientation to kind of start connecting to the institution. But we also have some mid-career and senior folks, so it'll be a fun group from that point of view. And a lot of what I would like to see us talking about are kind of how have our relationships to technology changed, our perceptions of the role of technology in our teaching shifted over the last 3 months, and what do we want to explore and maybe take with us. So personally, one of the things that, for me, one of the things that I'm looking at is the power of video, which is not something this is my personal learning journey for the next 4 months. It's not something that we've addressed very intentionally in the curriculum, but I think that's something that I could be doing a lot more of. And I'm going to try to do some of it just kind of in my own work through DigPins. In terms of where you can find me, professionally, I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm sporadically active. I'll be very active for a while, and then I'll put it down for kind of a month and just be a reader and kind of a retweeter, a forwarder of other people's ideas, and then I'll get back into it for a while. But I'm Joe from Kenyon on Twitter. And then I would say another place where you can find me is on the photo sharing site Flickr. I mean, they're all kind of crummy little iPhone photographs, but I'm trying to get better. And I'm Joseph M. Murphy, 2 M's, over on Flickr if you want to see things and places I take pictures of. So Autumn, what have we got on tap for this week?
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, so that is us and our cohorts and our different schools. But this week is the Digital Identity Week, and it's a big week. We got a lot of stuff on deck here. So we start off with digital identity in DigPins with the thought process that you need to have an identity before you can kind of connect or interact with other identities. And digital environments definitely have a big impact on this. So you're going to have a different kind of identity when you're teaching in the LMS than if you decide to create a professional, like, Twitter persona for yourself. And so one of the things that we will do is take a look at that and start to analyze where we are at in different spaces and what that means. So besides this video, we also have a couple of readings for you. We have Why Academics Need a Digital Persona by Laura Pasquini, as well as In Praise of Living in Public, which is by Bonnie Stewart. If you didn't get a chance to take a look at the week 0 stuff last week, go ahead and take a look at that now and just make sure that you're signed up for Slack as well as the blog. And then we have this digital identity analysis exercise that you'll go through. We have a couple of videos that'll show you how to do it. And we have a couple of different ways that you can do it. But basically what you're going to be doing is creating a map of your digital identity and mapping out where you exist in different environments, which tools you actually use, and how you use those tools and what that has on your identity. The visitor-resident typology, that mapping exercise is one way you can do it. We also have a link. The folks who created that, their thinking has evolved, and they actually have another one called the Digital Practice Triangle. You could take a look at both of these and choose to do one over the other, or to choose to do both of them and kind of compare them to one another. But take a little bit of time to think about this mapping exercise, and then whatever you do, you can take a picture of it and share it with us on Slack, or maybe think about blogging about it this particular week. We're working on getting some dates for a synchronous video call. We're hoping to offer 2 different dates for this, but as of the time of this recording, we don't have those dates yet. So look for that in text on the page that this will be embedded in. And you should be using Slack as a back channel space. This will be where we can all communicate with one another as different cohorts, but each cohort will also have a private channel where they can communicate just within their school, just within their cohort. Every week we'll be asking you to do some kind of blogging exercise, so you can feel free to make this your own. Talk about something that sparked your thinking in that came out of a Slack conversation, or maybe one of the readings resonated with you, or maybe you want to blog about that analysis that you did with your digital identity. Also, next week, we're going to be starting to use Twitter a little bit more. So if you don't have a Twitter account, you might want to start thinking about what you want your handle to be. And if you're struggling with that, feel free to pop some ideas into the Slack, and other people can give you feedback and help you with that. And then we also have a list that was put together by Lise Gallert-Bissett, just of other, a whole bunch of other stuff around curation of articles about digital identity and platforms, and security and privacy around digital identity as well. So take a look in there if you're looking for even more. And that's basically what we're going to be looking at for this particular week. We're super excited to be doing this with everyone. And it's going to be really wonderful to have conversation with folks about these really interesting ideas.